Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 57 of Petty Please. Here on the Misty Morrison Podcast, we love to read or listen. We love to hear all the stories of pettiness, entitlement, revenge, bad neighbors, bad bosses, all the things, and be grateful that is not our story. Before we get into our stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. Engaging online is free, and every little bit can help me grow my dream. If you are listening on podcast, please leave a 5-star review if you liked it. Anywhere else, give it a thumbs up, a heart, a like. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the stories down below. Share it with a friend if you liked it. Subscribe for more, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Long form content goes live every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. and short form content goes live across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook 3 times daily. Long form is on podcast and YouTube only. Okay, into our stories for the day. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/entitled people. Fights over finances. One of my best friends of more than 10 years asked me to lend him $4,000. He said it was urgent because it would affect his daily life and his children. Throughout our friendship, we've helped each other during difficult times. However, my partner and I are currently facing financial problems ourselves, and I'm chronically ill, so I can't work. I told him I would ask my partner if we could lend him some money. I also asked how he planned to pay us back. He completely flipped out and said that was none of my business, that I was stabbing him in the back, and that I was making him feel like a beggar. I realized I may have overstepped with that question and told him I meant it out of concern, especially because I know he's been struggling financially. He didn't care and kept calling me a backstabber. I still offered to help, and he accepted, as did my partner. He agreed to take the help. But the next day, he blew up my phone saying I was never a real friend, that I treated him like a beggar, and that my partner's finances were also his business because we are friends. He also said that he had done much more for me. He also went and asked my parents. I've never seen him like this before. It's like he's a completely different person. That's concerning. Yeah, I feel like when you get that desperate, that you will completely change the way you interact with people you've known for such a long time, people that care about you, that you know will help you, and then you would treat them badly like this. This makes me concerned about why he's having the financial issues and how bad it's really gotten. Because to be this desperate almost makes it seem like you're scared of something. I mean, if you said he took the help, or you said he agreed to take the help, so I hope you get your money back. I hope your friend gets in a better place. Yeah. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/entitled people, but I already paid for it. There was a yard sale post last night with pictures, and there was something I wanted. Drove an hour down the mountain to town and got there nice and early. It was still there. It's a heavy old iron hand pump. The seller had it in the lawn near the curb. I told the seller I was taking it and perused the other stuff. I paid for the pump and a few other things. He had a few other buyers, so I put the other stuff in the truck until he was free to load it up. I wasn't parked far away, but by the time I turned around, there was a couple trying to pick it up, looking excited. I walked up and told them I'd already bought it. She didn't believe, interrupted the seller and another customer with, "Excuse me, I'm here to buy this pump." Seller sees me. I shrug. He tells them it's sold already. She still doesn't believe and explains that she came all the way from the adjacent city for it. I laugh a little, tell her I came down from mountain for it, and I'm just waiting for some help loading it. She turns to me with an expectant look and says, "I really want it." Like I'm going to hand it over. I just shrugged again. I was done saying no. She stood and sighed, rolled her eyes, and possibly called me a name under her breath. I didn't react. I got the prize, no need to gloat. Finally, another customer came over, picked up the pump, and put it in my truck. Probably just to stop the drama show. Or he was just a nice guy. She was still glaring at me as I passed on the way out. I smiled and waved bye. Why wouldn't you believe someone? And to think that you could just Oh, well, I came this far. As though you were gonna give it up. That's entitled. Oh well, but I mean, good on you for not reacting because it's the dismissiveness that gets me. It's like you don't even bother me. I love it. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/entitled people. Woman wants me to pay over $3,000 a month to watch her 2 cats. This is next level. Looking for summer housing for a temporary work placement in San Francisco. Found a listing on Furnished Finder that seemed great. Price was $3,000 per month plus a $250 cleaning fee, which feels insane, but work is paying. I message her and she responds with this: do you like animals? You must like cats. 2 Persian cats live here and will need tending to in my absence. Turns out she is just going on vacation for the month and wants to sublet her place, but also isn't willing to pay for cat sitters. I told her that her listing should be on Trusted House Sitters or a similar service where people stay somewhere for free in exchange for animal care. Then she blocked me. I reported her to the website and they made her update the listing, but it's still up, still over $3,000. Insane. I agree. That's insane. It's so short. The first comment says, man, props to you for actually taking the time to message her and fix it. OP replied to that one and said, yeah, it really bothered me. I was so excited thinking I found a great place. I'm glad I reported it, but honestly, I don't think the website should have let her keep it up. I agree. I don't think they did enough. Because even if it's updated, she's not trying really to rent a place. She wants someone to watch her cats. This is weird. This is insanely entitled. Yeah, she wants someone to come stay in her house and pay her for the privilege of watching her cats. No. No. Okay, story number 4 is coming to us from r/revenge stories. Thanks for the free fence. This is just a bit of pettiness from last summer. My family owns a few acres that is in between a state park, a river, and a road. The road runs north-south, however, at one area the road curves 90 degrees to go east-west. So there's a small quarter-acre triangle that we own, but isn't part of our fenced, manicured area. And since it used to be a logging area, has a bunch of old stumps and is mostly treeless. Last summer, I decided to camp there with my boys in our van and start the process of clearing some stumps and generally making it better. I was completely surprised when I arrived and the whole thing had been fenced off with a brand new gate. I called my brother-in-law. He didn't know anything about it, as the triangle area is significantly past where we normally drive into the property. And so I pulled out my grinder. Yes, I came with a grinder when I'm planning on clearing land. And I just cut the chain. The gate was a nice rolling gate and the fencing was well done. I assumed hanging out on the land all weekend would garner someone's attention. But I was disappointed. We only managed to burn one large stump, but I enjoyed our time. When I came back the next weekend, the lock was back on the fence and there was a big "No trespassers, no fires, no camping" sign. That's cool. It even had a phone number to report trespassers. I called the number and got voicemail to a name. I got the name Sam Hudson from the voicemail, but I didn't bother leaving a message. So I just cut the lock and continued on my slow but deliberate land clearing. My boys rode the dirt bikes. We made some new tracks and jumps, and were kind of rowdy. I was hoping for an altercation, but alas, nothing happened. I did get an idea though, looking at the sign, and decided since the phone number was a local one and pretty similar to my own phone number, I would have a bit of fun. I took a couple measurements and pictures, and when I got to the property the next weekend, I wasn't surprised to see a trail camera and a new lock. Oh well, I used my grinder and cut the lock and then lifted my shirt and rubbed my nipples at the trail camera. Might as well give them a show. Then I took a heat gun and removed the second half of the phone number and replaced it with my own cell phone's number. I mean, the sign was decently built, like the fencing. Whoever was doing this was doing a really good job. Much to my luck, within an hour, some huffy Karen shows up walking her dog along the state park path and crossed the road to look at my van. I could see her from the river where we were hanging out as she started taking pictures of my van with her phone. I figured I would go over and talk to her. As I was walking over to her, I waved friendly and asked if she had a problem. She got all angry and told me she was going to call the cops because I was trespassing. And I assured her that was fine with me if she called the cops, but I mentioned that the land was in fact mine and had been for decades. So if anyone was going to get in trouble for trespassing, it would be her. It was clear she wasn't the person who had put up the gate or fence because she didn't say anything about the third cut lock. But she got all huffy and said the property didn't belong to me, and she was going to call the owner to report me. Indeed, a few moments later, she stomped over to the side and dialed the number. The look on her face when my phone rang and I answered it. She was so pissed off. I really thought she was going to have a heart attack. I politely answered and greeted her through the phone, though since I was less than 10 feet away, she knew it was me. Haha. She was so confused how this could have happened. Changing the phone number on a sign isn't that hard. And that she stormed away without confronting me further. 30 minutes later, though, a man in an Escalade drove up, with her sitting smugly beside him in the passenger seat. He looked at the sign's phone number with a bit of bemusement, and then got out of the car. He introduced himself as Sam Hudson. Obviously changed his name because he is actually a super decent person, it turns out. I asked who I was. I told him my name, and he immediately recognized my last name, which happens to be on a huge sign up the road. I pulled up the county maps on my phone because I had already done some research trying to figure out who he was after I called his number and got his name off voicemail, and showed him that my little triangle, while adjacent to his land and cut off by the curving road, was in fact mine and not part of his parcel. The look on Karen's face as she faded from triumphant smugness to disbelief was priceless. Sam, for his part, was confused and said he would just have to research it, but was completely polite. He pointed to the sign and asked if that was my number, which I assured him it was. He took it down in his phone and just said he would be in touch. He didn't try locking the gate again or ask me to leave until he confirmed things. Just wished me a good day and left. I got a call from him a couple hours later asking if he could take me and my boys out to eat. I said that would be fine, so long as Karen didn't come. He said she is his sister-in-law, and he was happy to leave her behind. We made arrangements to meet at a little cafe in the state park, and we arrived a while later. Sam explained that he had just purchased the parcel about 6 months earlier, and his realtor had assured him that triangle was his. He, like me, had planned on turning the triangle into a family camping spot, mostly because he couldn't stand it when his sister-in-law came to visit. He was planning on building a large house and wanted somewhere else to put her. Haha. Also, my triangle was the only access to about half of his parcel without cutting a huge road through the county road allowance. He asked if there was any way he could buy a strip of my land or pay for an easement. I said I would think about it, as I had been planning on making a dirt biking/camping spot for my boys where they could be a bit more wild, light fires, etc. And he said none of that bugged him, but it would save him $100,000 or more to use my land versus building a road through the county road allowance. I could tell that I really liked this guy already, so I said I would think about it. A week later, I had a rough agreement. He would pay for a paved road along one side of my land and pay for the county bridge over the river. I only lost about 20 feet of land in a big strip and gained access to about 30 feet of riverfront, large year-round stream that we never could have driven to because I wasn't going to pay for the bridge. We would swim picnic there, but it was the only non-logged area of the land and quite pretty. And I added the exclusion that his sister-in-law specifically wasn't allowed walking along the road. She had to drive in and out, but she wasn't allowed stopping on the easement or walking her dog off their property to the state park along the driveway. I know I'm petty, and my lawyer assured me that it wouldn't hold up in court at all, but I put it in anyhow. So I gained a nice fence, gate, and bridge, which would have cost me 20 to 30 grand easily, and access to the best part of my land for camping and an awesome neighbor. And I got to be petty at the same time. Win, win, win. I never bothered learning Karen's name, but I have only seen her once since, and she refused to respond when I called out to her and waved. And the first comment says, "You're the bomb." And I agree, because like you could have responded to everything so differently, so much more harshly, and made enemies of everyone involved. But you took it with humor, you took it in great spirits, and you were just kind and polite through it all, and ended up getting a friend out of your new neighbor. This could not have worked out any better. Everyone, except for Karen, handled this incredibly well. Awesome story. I did not realize that was going to go and end so happily. Okay, story number 5 is coming to us from r/revenge stories. My brothers post all the time about how he hates women. I'm 21. Said brother is the same age as me. I'm a few months older than him, so we grew up together even though we aren't related at all. His dad almost married my mom at one point, but they were together for 10 years, so we considered each other siblings. Okay, now it makes sense. Well, he now makes hating women his entire personality, along with alcoholism and the gym. Every day there's a post on his story, usually about all 3. He also posts every day a post about how he hates fat women. He posts so much about it that he's either deeply insecure or attracted to them and just won't admit it. He also posts many things about his objectifying women simply for his own pleasure. I've gotten sick and tired of seeing this, so I posted something to my story, a screenshot of my brother and the allegations against him. Tagged him too. I believe in the allegations, as the one he allegedly essayed I actually knew and went to school with her. We didn't talk much, but she talked to me about it. And when I posted the allegations, I didn't mention her name or stuff like that, as that's her story to tell, not mine. I just need people to see how shit of a person he is, and so far, it's working. The allegations are the worst thing he's done, but he also got in trouble a shit ton of times in school for being violent and bullying kids, but his dad was a coach, so he faced no backlash. I mean, I know you guys grew up close, but I feel like that would just be so draining to see all that negativity all the time. I would have just unfollowed. Like, because you can unfollow on social media without unfriending someone. And I think, if I remember right, I think they don't know when you've unfollowed them. So that's like a good way to get the negativity out of your life without causing conflict. But I see that you don't mind to cause conflict. Okay, story number 6 is coming to us from r/revenge stories. Keith shouldn't have insulted my wife. Let me tell you about Keith. I had posted some old video games for sale, N64 titles and some side stuff related to it on Facebook Marketplace. Keith messaged me and told me my prices were too high, but he did not make an offer. I asked him to make me an offer, and he again told me the price was too high, but he did not make a counteroffer. We go back and forth for a while until he is full on insulting me, and admittedly I'm egging him on. He never sent a counteroffer. Then he calls my wife a fat pig. So I look back at the messages. At one point in his insults towards me, he had started bragging about his business, roofing, and his money. He stated that he had $50K in cash at his house in a safe, so I googled his address and sent it to him. He reacted it, claimed it was his parents' home. So I did another Google search, found another address that matched it to the pics on his Facebook, sent the address to him. Big change. Now he's telling me he's going to call the cops and tell them I said I'd rob him. He's still calling me names, but he's clearly more panicked. He's freaking out. I keep sending him messages back, making fun of him for being stupid and telling him he should have just made a counteroffer. Then I get a phone call. It's a cop. Now I have no reason to doubt necessarily that it was a cop. It's just funny to me they'd even call. The person on the line claimed to be a county deputy, said what I was doing could be considered stalking, etc., etc. I told her it wasn't, I just Googled something. She can go tell Keith not to insult strangers online and that I had won. Haven't heard anything back. About once last month, I call his company and book a consultation to some random property. Last I knew, he does them himself, so hopefully I'm wasting his time. Oh, and I see the first comment. It says, tell Keith you recorded the call from the cop and they're now investigating someone impersonating an officer. that would really get him going. And the same person also said, and I think you can do more than one booking. Yeah, that's brilliant. Because, I mean, nothing he did actually hurt you. It was just offensive. It was stupid. You're right. It was stupid behavior. He was definitely being childish. I love that you can immediately see when you got him based on how he acted. But yeah, I think if you've got the time, you can go even further with this. Let's see. Okay, one more short one for the day. Story number 7 is coming to us from r/revenge stories. Got bit, reacted accordingly, caught hell. Grammar school, end of the day. I was sitting on a bench outside of school. I was a student at the same school as my brother. My brother and his idiot classmate both grabbed my arms. My brother grabbed my left arm, idiot classmate grabbed right arm. The idiot classmate bit my shoulder for no reason. With force, I shook the idiot classmate off me. He hit the ground. I heard him say, "Ow!" As my brother, Mom, and I were leaving, I saw the idiot classmate. He had tears in his eyes and was crying. I told my mom what happened. I caught hell. My dad came home. I caught hell from him too. He later found out I was bit. I guess he forgave me or gave me a pass, but still, I got attacked and reacted accordingly. Can anyone blame me? No. 'Cause I mean, it doesn't even sound like you hit him. It just says you shook him off your arm and he hit the ground. That's the least he deserved. That's the least he deserved. First comment says, no, certainly not. Or I certainly don't. Well done for defending yourself. The next comment said, no, the attacker got what he deserved. Clearly so. The next one says, Fafo, nuff said. Exactly. And the next one said, nope, you did right, self-defense. Yeah, he got the very least of what he deserved. You were right. And I'm sorry no one in your family took your side because you defended yourself. Okay, that was 7 stories for this week's episode of Petty Please. Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast, and I'll see you guys next time. Remember, start each day with a grateful heart. Kindness changes everything. I'll see you next time. Bye.